Welcome to the XCon Journal, episode number 5. Just throw something together here before I hit the road today. Got a speech going on for prison ministry this weekend that I'm preparing for. But I was thinking about how prisoners sometimes acquire survival skills and how it kind of um, it's like we learn how to deal with really big stuff, right? But not so much the small stuff. It's like we're great at handling emergencies, and not freaking out when the stuff is hitting the fan. And but then when the small things come up, we're scratching our heads or we freak out because we don't know what to do about normal everyday stuff that you all take for granted, right? And so it's just an interesting phenomenon. And I remember when in my first tour of duty, I'm gonna call it that, in the Missouri State Prison. And, I did time up here in Minnesota too. I'm from Minnesota and I live up here now. For those of you who aren't from where I'm from, I should probably have explained that, but I digress. Anyway, I remember reading about a Viking quote, and it's basically saying that if it's our time, nobody can save us. If it's our time to die, they can put an army to defend us and it won't do any good. And if it's not our time, they can come with all the armies of the earth and there's nothing they can do to take us out. And it's kind of like, I believe that when it's my time, I'm gone. I do make sense of that. It's like we have sacred contracts, we have soul contracts. We're here for a reason. We're here to accomplish something. And once our mission is done, and we get to decide when that is, by the way, then our mission is done. It's like our spirit can see where we're going, right? We're going toward the light constantly. Even if our physical eyes don't always see it, doesn't mean that it's not happening. So, and once it's like when people have near-death experiences, okay? They go into the tunnel or whatever happens that brings them to the light. And they go to the light. They see a light and they go toward it. And but when I thought about that, it's like, well, if our spirit we're in pure spirit at that time and we're seeing the light, well, maybe our spirit can see it all the time. So that's where that idea gave birth to itself in my life. So yeah, I think we can't be off our spiritual course. It's not possible. And it's like we sometimes think our lives are taking bizarre turns and twists and we're going off course or something. I don't think that's really possible. Um, and it's like we're drawing a straight line from birth to death. And it seems to many of us that we're doing this, and all these crazy circles and lines and etc. When in reality, if you put a pen down on a piece of paper and you draw a line from your birth toward where you're going, which only your spirit can see, then that line is straight. However, the world is moving like it's on a sheet of paper, right? And as the world turns, it's like a globe, and or the sheet of paper is moving, the world is moving, things are moving around us and the like. And it makes that line on this world's sheet of paper look like it's going all over the place, like it's going crazy. But it's the world that's moving. It's not us moving off of our course. our spiritual course. So that's what I mean by we can't be off our course. It's like we turn our will and our lives over to the care of God, and it's not there's nothing else to worry about. It's like if we're not offendable, then um, why would we track something being wrong in the world? We were born good enough. Let's just stick with that. But it is curious how I'll come up against things that are considered pretty normal to people, and I'll have no clue about certain social rules because you just don't learn some of those rules when you've had my background, I guess. Grew up in a difficult home, um, foster home, bio home. The stuff didn't happen in a vacuum in my life, but yet I was still on my spiritual course. So I am not regretting the past or wishing to shut the door on it. That would be a little bit silly. It's like not liking a part of who I actually am because these events that happened in my life, even the difficult ones that maybe a lot of people would call wrong or bad, they serve a higher purpose because I've turned it over. And if there is a literal thing called Satan, or if Satan is just ego, look at it however you need to listen to where I'm going with this. Um, if Satan is real, then it's got to just irritate him to no end to know that no matter what happens in our lives, it turns out good, and we are blessed beyond measure, and we realize that we've been walking on water our whole lives. And but yet we're complaining about walking on water. It's like, oh, somebody turned in front of me in traffic. We're walking on water, but someone turned in front of us in traffic, So that whole thing is really interesting. So there's just a few more thoughts from this old ex-con, and been out of prison for since August 17th of 90. I got drunk on the 18th and sobered up on the 19th. Had a miracle happen that I didn't get arrested when I was drinking, uh, and that miracle is something I'm just holding on to a day at a time. So, nice little shadows coming when I move my face from the light. Oh, hey, there's a message there. Keep facing the light. When we see shadows is when we've turned our back on the light, and the shadow we're seeing is the one cast by our own bodies. But it's kind of interesting. Maybe our backs need tans. So, all right. Peace out, y'all. Take care.